to parties on Halloween dressed up in costumes.
Right.
Is because one of the major mysteries is maybe that they don't want you to know that those ancestors come back, and a lot of times you see people in those costumes, they actually be spirits.
Yeah.
You see, but remember now, science doesn't want you to believe that there's a spiritual world. You see, there's a spiritual world. They'll even deal with moralism in religion than they will actually deal with spiritual aspect. And I've heard Christians say that the dead know not what the living do. I'm like, no, you got that wrong.
Yeah.
The living know not what the dead does. You see, what the dead does. So the point is, we're talking about some of these costume parties is to hide the fact that what would you do if you up in a party and your grandmama show up and want to party a little bit and take a little sip of some cognac or some Hennessy? You see what I'm saying? You see, so, but now why am I saying that? Why am I saying that? Because the closer we get to this realm, and you can even say the 2012 thing, it's a 2012 cycle or a 2012 season, and we've been in it. I think we've been in it 2012 since 2001. That was the reason why they blew the building up in 2001, the World Trade Center. You understand? Rather than doing it now. You see, the point I'm trying to make, as we get closer into these particular realms, what is happening here is, one of these days of the dead, people going to show up and ain't going to leave. Or people going to disappear.
Yes. Well, I think it was earlier this year, Brother Bobby, that the CDC announced its plans, and actually it's on their website, it's on the government website, that what it would do if there was an outbreak in zombies. And on the show, they actually put it out, and people thought it was a joke, but the CDC said no, they were experimenting with some things, and they needed to let people know in case there was a zombie outbreak. You guys may have remembered when
That's right. Now, check this out. You are right. Not only that, the History Channel just put a new series out that started last week on the history of zombies. Yeah. And it's an entire series that they're going to do of certain segments of it. You see what I'm saying? Now, it's interesting here because they also put out this thing called Planet Egypt they did for 2 weeks and did all this Egyptian stuff, but just so happened to leave out the fact that they were black people because they didn't show nobody black in the whole history of Egypt. You see what I'm saying? So they're funny when it comes to that whole thing. They can't get past that. But you are right about this thing here because there's some stuff that's actually happening because it's also in a text. It's also in the text. It's in the text of the descent of Ishtar. Ishtar's descent. Let me see if I can find the name of the book. Like I said, I go in this room. If I don't get them off the stack, you see, it's thousands and thousands of books. And so I was just trying to see because I located, I think it's something Tales from Mesopotamia. But but the only thing you have to do is go on the internet and just type in Ishtar's descent. And Ishtar tells she's trying to go to the underworld. And she says, let me in. Let me into the underworld. I think because what it is she's trying to go. The story is the older one was Inanna's descent. And Inanna's husband is fallen into the underworld, almost like the whole Isis and Osiris thing. And as a result, Ishtar, it's later Ishtar, but earlier it was Inanna. So you can just put Inanna's descent or Ishtar's descent. But I think the one that's made mention is in Ishtar's descent. And so she goes in and says, listen, open up the underworld for me. I need to get in, basically to see her husband, to try to bring him back and whatever. So what happens here is she makes this claim. Now, this is the goddess. This is nothing but a Mesopotamian form of Isis. And so she makes this form. She says, let me in, or I will rip the bolts off of the doors of the underworld, and the dead will walk the earth again and will outnumber the living. You see, outnumber the living.
Yeah.
You see, so we're really getting into some stuff, and that's why this whole ancestral thing we talk about tonight is very important, because the simple fact here is we've now made contact with the ancestors on the other side, and that is the destiny. I talked about it in the Baltimore lecture, and I'm going to go through this tonight here, because that's what we're talking about, making this contact with the ancestors on the other side. So let me give you some other stuff that's actually happening. You all right?
All right.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now, what you need to do is limit the amount of soy products, because soy now is in everything. It's in toothpaste, chewing gum, all your bread, all your cakes. Everything has soy lecithin in it, or soybean oil. Now, soy is a product that what happens here is you can't just not eat because it's in everything. We just have to, you got to start reading the labels.
Right.
And limit your intake. Because what soy does, they have already called it, they call it a carcinogen. Just like last time we talked, I think, they made the cell phone a carcinogen. Now, anybody know what a carcinogen is? It means it causes cancer.
Yeah.
Well, soy, come to find out, it causes a brain cancer. Or the reason why they're putting soy in everything is because they're trying to attack the pineal gland. You see, they're trying to attack the pineal gland. So you're going to have to limit the amount of soy. The amount of soy, because it's a carcinogen, but it causes a brain cancer. You see, it causes a brain cancer. You see what I'm saying? So this is very key on how this thing is going down. Now, let me give you some other information.
Yes.
Now, this is the key. This is the key. And this is why I think that the secret societies say, well, one day those angels or those gods are going to return, but they're going to return as humans. So let me give you Exhibit A. Let me give you an Exhibit A. So what you have to do, we have to trace them, and guess how you trace them? You trace them through your ancestors. But most people, after their people die, they don't know what the hell happened to them. You see what I'm saying? They don't know what the hell happened to them and stuff like that. Because the church got you so that you don't supposed to believe in nothing. People are scared of their family.
Sure.
Yeah, you loved her when she was living, but now the family, the mama tried to get back in touch with you, and you running down the damn street. You see? So,
right.
So what happens here is they make sure that we don't have no mystery of the dead. You see, but yes, they do give you these Day of the Dead cultures, which is the European Day of the Dead is this Hallows Eve. And then also you have the Day of the Dead aspect of Baron Samedi on the 2nd or the 1st of the 2nd in Haiti. But there's Day of the Dead festivals in Mexico and around the world at different times. You see, we just have a national one with Halloween, and thank God for that. You can do what you want. So this is what's happening here with this ancestor thing. Okay, let me give you Exhibit A. Two things happen. Sometime in the spring of the year, my brother called me. He said, I ran into this realm, and I saw Mama. Now, my brother always could see spirits.
Yeah.
This is my youngest brother. He said it was a guy sitting on the side of his bed down at our house in Mullins. And my mama said that was probably your father. You was a baby. So he was living up in Boston. This was in the 80s, or the late 80s, I think it was the late 80s. He went to church. He and his wife. They broke up in the church. They broke up in the church. They went up in the church. The entire church stopped and was looking at him. They looked at him, and the preacher had to direct them back to him so he could continue preaching. But they were just looking at him like they saw a ghost, like they saw a god or a spirit. And they was looking at my brother. So he said, man, the whole church was like, oh. So after the service was over, the preacher came down and said, hey, I don't know what you got, man, but you got a high spirit. There's something about you, man. He said, you need to get into some religion. You know, that's the only thing he could tell him. You know, you need to crack down and get into some religion. Because that's the only thing he could tell him and stuff like that, because they don't know nothing about no spirit. But they did notice his presence. Okay. The other week, I'm going in the post office. A guy turned around and go, yo, you got the word in you. I say, I most certainly do. He said, and as you know, it won't be long now. I say, you goddamn right. So let me tell you. So my brother ended up in a place this spring with, in the place this spring with, it was like some dimension. And my mother looked at him. He saw my mother, and he was like, she said, what are you doing here? And he said, well, what are you doing here? Anyway, what she was trying to tell him, look, where you done ended up, ain't no physical people or ain't no living people here. It's ascended people. Mm-hmm. And so he said he talked to her a little bit, and he said, they was talking, and he said she had on a trench coat like Columbo. I said, okay. She put the trench coat on to send me a message. Mm-hmm. okay. To send me a message. So what happened was, hold on 1 minute.
Okay.
Got to get some damn water. I'm talking so loud. Anyway, so what happened was, she was sending me a message. So she said, I said, I know what that is. I said, you never seen the episode of Supernatural. Supernatural been coming on, they're in their 7th season now. They've been coming on since 2005. And Supernatural is the two brothers that go down and they do all kind of stuff with ghosts and do all type of stuff with demons and all types of stuff, you know. So what happened on Supernatural, one of the brothers in I think season 3 or season 4 went to hell. And so what happened was, because they was doing stuff and they was tracking down demons, and I think Lilith pulled one of the brothers down to hell. I think it was season 3 or something like that. So in season 4, on the first show, he wakes up and he breaks out of the graveyard. And so they was like, well, he said, I'm back. And so the people was like, well, hey, how did you get back? How did you get back? And anyway, they had figured out that the only way a person can get pulled out of hell is an angel of the Lord. So by the end of the show, the angel appears, Castiel, and he wears a brown trench coat. So I said, when he said that, he's never seen Supernatural. So, and it comes on, I think, every day at 12 to 1 on TNT. You can catch it every day if you want to. It comes on Friday night at 9 o'clock, the new shows. But all the back shows come on, I think it's like they back to back, either 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock or something like that. It's back to back. They're 2 hours long. So, but you check, they come on every day at TNT. So anyway, he's never seen Supernatural. And I said, oh, I got what it is. She had on the trench coat to send me a message because I watch Supernatural. And I said, do you know, Castiel on Supernatural, he wears a trench coat. Okay. And I said, not only that, she sent her a message because she know that I know that Castiel is a real angel in the Bible, and Castiel governs Saturday and Saturn, which is, he's a Capricorn angel. And my mother, when she was in the physical world, was a Capricorn. She's a Capricorn. My grandmother's a Capricorn. My grandfather's a Capricorn. My father's a goddamn Capricorn. And you know, so I said, well, she was Capricorn. And all. Baron Sanders a Capricorn, a Saturn angel and stuff. So I said, so she know that I knew that Castiel was Capricorn. In so many words, I said, either she's turned into a form of Castiel. Now, this is where we're going with this. This is where the human destiny meets what's going on, because now we got living people and we can track them. Even your boy Taylor, he said when his mother got threw out the window, they killed his mother in Nigeria. He said she went on, she transcended, and now she is a spirit, a grain spirit in the Orisha kingdom. So if you can track these people are turning into gods. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? And so this is the other thing. The kingdom is with us now. It's the only reason why we don't know about it is for one reason. Our pineal glands are gradually opening up, and once they open up, you're going to find out that the ancestors reside with us now.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? It's just that we can't see it because our pineal glands are sedated. You see, but once the third eye open, you're going to find out that they're already here. When Troy Davis made the transition, hell, only thing he did is he was like, God damn, I was here all the time. I was just locked up in this world in a prison. You see, and you see, they got a show on now called Once Upon a Time. It aired last Sunday at 8 o'clock on ABC.
I just watched them tonight.
Yeah, on ABC. And they're talking about a world, it's the fairy book world, and the wicked witch said, I'm going to put all y'all in prison. And guess what? She took them. She took them to this world. She took them to the modern world. So she took them to California. She took them to Texas. So they went from the enchanted world to this world. And that's the prison. And they don't even know who the fuck they are. One girl said, I just know that I knew you in another life. I met you before. So that's because the pineal gland is shut down. So now this is the deal. So what it was is when I started reading and dealing with the whole Castiel thing, I said, well, according to this, my mother is ruling over a whole new kingdom, like a seventh heaven. Okay, I was reading that on Castiel in the Dictionary of Angels by Gustav Davison, the definitive text. Dictionary of Angels, I think it's Dictionary Encyclopedia, hold on. It's the the Dictionary of Angels, including fallen angels, by Gustav Davison, the definitive text. And I said, according to this, my mother is ruling over her own realm. So when I told my brother that, my brother said, well, it's interesting you would say that. He said, because about a year ago, even before she told me about the Castiel thing, he said, it's interesting you would say that. He said, because about a year ago, he said, I went and saw her again, and she was at a table, and it was a line of people, and she was signing these people up. Like to go into something. I said, well, I'll be shit. I said, I'm glad you didn't tell me before I read the book.
Right.
In the book, I said, because I thought I'd been influenced by it. He said, no. Right. He said, about a year ago, I saw her and she was signing people up. So, a funny thing happened. She had a best friend that just made the transition back here this August. This August. My brother called me and said, Miss Hattie Mildred just died. One of my mama's best friends. She just died. And he said about 45 minutes ago. So I went in to the living room where I got all these altars, and I said, I'm calling. I said, I'm calling on behalf of Hattie Mildred. And I said, Hattie Mildred, I summoned her spirit. I said, now you're gonna grab this dog named Anubis, and he's gonna take you through this doorway. So you imagine the doorway in your mind. He's gonna take you through this doorway. And I said, who am I? I say, I am Bobby Hemmitt, son of Glaciria Hemmitt. So a few minutes later, a forest came and knocked down another big ass tree across the street, and it fell into this house. And this house is now, they got these houses, they turn them into nursing homes, nursing homes. And it fell into this house and knocked out the lights on that side of the street.
That's what's up, because the one thing that human spirit can feel and come through is wood. Is wood.
Now, it's interesting. Now, check this out. So she came and got her best friend. And then she and with that force, she knocked down that tree. And so I said, well, can people call on you? She said, oh no. I said, well, and I said, I got it. You a force, and I said, oh, that's that force that knocked down that damn tree. She said, I'm a Saturn angel. There's a book called Saturn, The New Look at the Old Devil, and Saturn comes to chastise. She said, no. She said.